Oh, Finally Home is the new CD that I've released. Well, I released the single, first of all. The single was I Know What Prayer Can Do. And what I'm excited about on the single is because, you know, I used not to pay a lot of attention to Billboard, but I pay attention now. The album's in the top 20, the CD. Single, I Know What Prayer Can Do, is in the top 20. It has crossed many radio stations, internet stations across the country. We're getting a lot of support from radio people. Satellite, Sirius XM, WLIB right here in New York City. Across this country, the Light Network, Cumulus Broadcasting, Heaven 600, that's Lee Michaels. We're getting a lot of support from it. So we released a single, and 2014 will be the second single that I'm going to release from the city called Storms. We're going to do a major banged up job with the second single. We're doing it in Columbia, South Carolina, which is going to be, it's part of my roots, that's all. Columbia, South Carolina, we're going to do it during Praise Factor weekend. And that Sunday is going to be exclusive for me with the CD release of Storms. Yeah, so it's going to be a nice setting for me with all my supporters and family. I got a lot of family in South Carolina too, so it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful event. But the CD itself, Finally Home, is representative of a memorial that I did for my mom and dad, the late James Robert Malloy and the late Lorraine Malloy. One of the things that they wanted me to do was to come back home, and it's recorded in my hometown, thus the word finally home. But my mom always wanted me to come home, and I never got that opportunity while she was alive. So that was something that stuck with me, you know, not really being able to fulfill that. And I'm sorry, I get very emotional when I talk about this, but I thank God that He would see it through, and that there were enough concerned people in South Carolina to want me to do this project. Couldn't I get a record company, anything like that, to follow me into a little small town in South Carolina, because it was a major market. It wasn't a place where there were hundreds of thousands of people. This is a small town, maybe 30, 35,000 people at best. So God sent angels. He sent some angels my way and really had people to just take up the cross and say, listen, you're our native son. We're going to support you 100%. Your mom and dad would want this to happen, and that's what happened. They got together and banded together. We raised the funding to do this album. That was a testament to my mom and dad. I mean, even though they weren't there physically, but they were there spiritually. Mom, I'm finally home. That's the story behind the title. You know, this is such a wonderful, wonderful honor. You know, I've sang in Newark Symphony Hall a few times, recorded actually in Newark Symphony Hall with the late Bishop Jeff Bankston, Revival Temple Mass Choir. I recorded with the New Jersey Mass Choir here in Symphony Hall with the late Reverend James Cleveland. So this is historical for me. And it's very important that they would think enough of me to want to honor me in this event. We have to keep gospel music alive in this city. You know, no matter what else goes up and around, gospel music is here to stay. And we want to be able to preserve that. So I'm thankful that when Praises Go Up decided they was going to honor me this year, I would say, wow, what a unique honor for me. Even my predecessors who were honored before, I mean, it's just, I'm humbled. I think that's the more word that I use. I'm just humbled that it's happening to a Donald Malloy. I think we need to have more. And I don't want to, I like what When Praises Go Up is doing, because it's actually focusing a lot on the great talent that is around the greater Newark area. Very rarely do you hear major events coming into the city, but very rarely do you hear of area artists who have made their mark in the gospel music industry appear on those shows. Something is wrong with that picture. But you have When Praises Go Up, who will focus on those individuals and bring those individuals to let's shine a light. Because these are up and coming, especially with young artists, they need to be encouraged. And they need a platform in order to showcase their talents for who they are and what God has called them to do. So I'm 150, 200% for events like When Praises Go Up. And other major events need to take note and include other artists in this Newark and greater area on the stuff that they're doing. I mean, the old adage is, well, they're local. Yeah, they may be local because you live in a city, in a great city, that has great gospel pride and history, but it doesn't take away from the ministry that the person is presenting and away from what the show is that you're bringing from outside. Whether it's the great top 5 artists or whatever, all the money in the world, but you have artists right here. And that's why I'm so connected to When Praises Go Up, because they foster, I want to say, like the independent person, the independent artist who's trying to rise above. And I like that about When Praises Go Up. I think one of the things that I would give to it, because what I see today in this contemporary world is young artists always wanting to simulate or be like someone else who's out there that's already made it. And that's the wrong. You gotta be yourself. You gotta be unique in what you do. And in all things, make sure that the calling upon your life is what's purpose for you. Because a lot of us today are walking around here, missed our purpose. We're in something that God didn't intend us to be in, but we chose it because we wanted it, as opposed to what God ordained for us to do. So I say to young people, make sure you have your calling that you've heard from upstairs, that God has really given you this calling for you to do. And then when you do it, commit to it. Go bless the world. And be unrelentless. Going out and putting that out there before God's people. Wait, I say, on the Lord. That's something to think about, because we are impatient people, right? So I say wait on the Lord.